Hey guys, thanks for checking out the My Career Path podcast. Today, we're going to be going over some of my favorite quotes and advice from industry leaders in America today. These are some famous people, probably people that you already know and have already heard of, just some of their favorite takes, as well as some of their insights, just to help you be a little bit more successful and hopefully give you some motivation and inspiration to reach that same level of success in your life. So let's get into it. Just as we get into it, if you like this kind of content, if you like these kind of offhand research sections, let me know down below. I'd love to keep doing them. But if you guys want to do more of the interviews, I'm happy to do that as well. I want to know and hear your feedback. So with that said, let's kind of jump into our first industry leader and some of their top advice that I really enjoy. First one's going to be Jeff Bezos, and most people know him as the owner and founder of Amazon. Now, Amazon used to just be an online bookstore, which you may or may not have already known. It later moved into CDs and videos in 1998, and as it continued to kind of diversify, it moved into clothes, electronics, toys, and now you can find just about anything on Amazon that you can desire. I mean, honestly, look at this. You can get bacon Band-Aids. Unfortunately, they're not real bacon, so that kind of sucks, but hey, if you want to have a bacon bandage, actually, I think I'm going to have to go order some. Hold on really quick. Okay, now that that's done and I have my bacon bandages on the way, we're going to talk more about Jeff Bezos and kind of how he started out. So as Amazon continued to diversify the various products and services that it offers, it really jumped up. I mean, in 1995, the yearly sales for Amazon were $510,000, and now in 2011, it has jumped up to $17 billion, which is a tremendous amount of growth. Regardless of what you think of Jeff Bezos and Amazon, you have to admit he is very successful, and Amazon does really well at taking care of its customers. And so here is one of my favorite quotes from Jeff Bezos. Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. And I think this quote really just boils down to you are who you are even when no one is around. It's who you are regardless of if anybody is watching. You're going to be honest, you're going to be working hard, and regardless of when someone might come and check on you, you're always going to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it really says a lot about your character. And believe me, I think Amazon as a whole does a phenomenal job at customer support. I think many of us have ordered something from Amazon and it either didn't get delivered on time, wasn't what we were expecting, and we're able to kind of send it back and have it taken care of. We either get it refunded, we either get it exchanged, or we get it back as a credit. And so Amazon does a really good job of taking care of their customers and making sure their customer support works, which I think really says a lot about this quote, where your brand is what people say about you even when you're not in the room. And I think a lot of people have pretty positive views with Amazon because there's such variety and there's so much customer support on it. Now, does it mean that it's the best for everyone? No. I remember working in a lot of small businesses where Amazon basically set this bar of incredible customer support, incredible delivery times, and sometimes it's really hard to live up to that. And so that can be a little bit challenging, especially where it's such a big company. Another quote from Jeff Bezos that I really like is, the best customer service is if the customer doesn't need to call you, doesn't need to talk to you, it just works. And with my experience, I think with Amazon and with several other companies, as long as you have good customer service, you can generally have your problems worked out. It's companies that have no customer service, or you have to go through a bot, or you have to go through the long phone tree just to try to get to talk to someone to try to resolve your issue. That can be so frustrating as an individual, and especially as a business owner. You want to make sure your customers are taken care of, that they can get answers when they need to, and they're able to reach you. So I think these are two really good quotes for your business or for whatever career you're going into, is make sure people know who you are regardless of whether you're being watched, regardless of whether you're being tracked, and make sure you are accessible. Make sure you're able to resolve issues, that people can communicate effectively with you. I think those are two really key issues to help elevate you to your next career. And of course, we're going to be going into the next entrepreneur and very successful industry leader, and that's going to be Oprah Winfrey. Now, Oprah was pretty famous for her Oprah Winfrey show, and I know it was something that my mom watched pretty frequently. It was always kind of fun to see all the different things that she was doing, the different topics, giving away cars. I mean, the memes that were born from just this clip alone. You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. So funny. And now anyone, if you say anything about you get a car or you get a seat, like it is Oprah Winfrey who kind of did that and was able to build this super successful show and super successful network. She ran her show from 1986 to 2011, and she's now called kind of the queen of all media. She's honestly one of the most influential women of all time, just with her vast experience in broadcasting and building a show and building such a network of people kind of coming together to discuss different issues. Now, Oprah owns and runs Harpo Productions, which runs some popular shows like The Dr. Oz Show and The Nate Berkshire Show. Her estimated net worth is $2.8 billion, and here's a good quote that's attributed to Oprah Winfrey. Do the one thing you think you cannot do, fail at it, try again, do better the second time. The only people who never tumble are those who never mount the high wire. And essentially, you have to keep failing and you have to keep getting back up. You're always going to find things that you're going to fall short. You're not going to meet your expectations and you're not always going to get it at the first try. But if you're able to learn and be able to kind of grow from these failures and experiences, you're able to have that surmounting success. You have to have a certain amount of failures behind you in order to reach that mountain of success. And it also reminded me of the book, The Comfort Crisis. And this is something I've talked about previously. I think it's a great book that just talks about how we need to constantly challenge ourselves in order to actually grow as people. Whether that be in your careers, whether that be in your relationships, whether that be in your hobbies, regardless of whatever you want to improve at, you have to keep trying and you have to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone in order to reach that success and in order to actually grow. And a second quote that I really like from Oprah is, you become what you believe. You are where you are today in your life based on everything that you have believed. And I think this also goes back to the Jeff Bezos quote about your character and who you are. You have the ability to choose what you want to be or who you want to be in your career as well as in your personal life. If you want to be a dentist, if you want to be a lawyer, you have to basically believe that you can do that. And then map out the steps in order to actually reach that. So in order to have that motivation, you have to have that initial belief in yourself, which may be hard at first, especially if you continue to fail and, fall short of your goals. But as you keep trying and keep learning and keep improving upon yourself, you can actually reach your goals and do much more than you think you can. Going on to the next industry leader that I've decided to choose is Warren Buffett. And so this is someone who's a little bit older, has been around the bush quite a bit, and is most known for his company, Berkshire Hathaway, which is basically a big umbrella for a lot of different companies. Companies like Kraft Heinz, the ketchup manufacturer, R.C. Willey Home Furnishings, Geico, and Fruit of the Loom. So basically, this company owns so many subdivisions and whatnot, and it's a massive corporation. He took majority control of Berkshire Hathaway in 1965 and used it as his primary investment vehicle for most of his life. He's a wizard of Wall Street, and investments have accrued him a net worth of about $120 billion. And here's one of my favorite quotes from him. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. This also goes back to the Jeff Bezos quote and the Oprah Winfrey quote about who you are is what you believe, and it all comes down to kind of your character. If you're someone who is honest and willing to accept responsibility, you could be someone that actually is relied upon. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes as long as you're able to somewhat correct them and take accountability for that. And especially in your professional career and in whatever job you are, if you're able to take responsibility for your mistakes and talk about ways to actually solve them, you end up building trust with your managers and with your fellow employees as well. It takes years to actually build that trust and be someone that you can rely on. But if you do something really bad once and you try to hide it or cover it up, that can be taken away in an instant. You just want to make sure that you are being who you are and you're being a generally good person, especially when it comes to business dealings. You want to make sure your customers are taken care of. And if you're not able to provide that good or service to them, you have to be upfront and honest about it, because otherwise you'll get terrible reviews or you'll get this backlash of, hey, they don't care about me. They don't care about my customers. But if you're honest about this is why it was delayed, this is what actually is happening, here's what we can do and offer solutions, you'll end up having a lot more pleased customers, a lot more pleased managers, and fellow employees as well. The next quote from Warren Buffett is this: the best investment you can make is in yourself. And this is something that in a lot of self-help books and a lot of money books and whatnot also holds true. You want to make sure that you're investing your time into yourself, to bettering yourself, your knowledge, your skills, your capabilities. This is what's going to grant you the biggest return on investment. Not getting super lucky in Wall Street, not finding that dream job that's going to pay you thousands and thousands of dollars for doing basically nothing. It's going to be, how are you bettering yourself in order to better provide value to those around you? And I think this is something that really holds true in my life. That's something I am constantly striving for, and which is why I'm starting to do the show and talk with people. I want to learn from their experiences, and I hope you're able to learn something as well. It's also why I do book reviews and whatnot, because I think for a lot of time, I didn't do a very good job at reading. I got swept away in social media, YouTube, everything else, and I spent quite a bit of time kind of wasting it away and not really finding ways to learn and better myself. So this is something that I'm trying to do for this new year, is make sure I'm investing into myself and make sure I'm investing into being a better person all around, whether it be in my professional career or whether it be in my personal one. I just hope you find time to actually invest in yourself, because the returns on that are so great. And now we're going to talk about Spanx. Anyway, Sara Blakely was one of the world's youngest female self-made billionaires in 2012. And she was actually the founder of Spanx. And really, it stemmed from she wanted to find an undergarment that was more comfortable and made her appear slimmer. And it turns out a lot of females actually shared that same sentiment. Her popularity skyrocketed when her product was actually displayed on the Oprah Winfrey show. And interestingly enough, she only started with about $5,000 and a lot of grit to actually build the Spanx empire. She also created the Sara Blakely Foundation that actually helps provide scholarships to aspiring female entrepreneurs and helping them out, kind of getting their business up and going and getting their ideas out there. So here's some of my favorite quotes from Sara Blakely. "Failure is not the outcome. Failure is not trying." And this is a lesson that she learned from her father and kind of goes back to the other sentiments. And if you notice somewhat of a pattern between these quotes of what really stand out to me, it's the things that I think about often, of trying to reach success and constantly falling short, trying to invest and better yourself and your character and who you are as a person. That's what really rings true for me. And so failure is just not trying. It's not about the outcome. It's not about, hey, we didn't hit the goal, we didn't hit the quota. It's about you didn't give it a good effort. You didn't actually try, and you didn't continue to try. You essentially gave up and walked away. And I think that's something that rings true for a lot of people, whether it be your financial goals, whether it be your career goals. It's not all going to happen all at once. You have to continually try and work new angles and find different ways. And in talking with people about their career paths, that's what ultimately happens as well. Usually as we're growing up, we have somewhat of an idea of what we want to actually be when we get older. However, as we get older, we find that maybe that's not what we want to do. And we kind of zigzag around to different jobs. We try out new things until we kind of figure out what we actually want to do. And then as we can kind of continue to build up on that, we can actually have that really big success and actually have a really successful career and a career path. So essentially, the more you fail, the closer you are to your goals, which is another quote that Sara has. The more you experience failure, the more you learn. The more you learn, the closer you are to your goals. And you just have to keep learning. You just have to keep trying new angles. You have to figure out what went wrong, what didn't work. Let's try something else. Maybe that time it'll actually reach success. When you're not so focused on the outcome and focused more on the process, you end up learning a lot more and you end up seeing the journey a lot better and able to reach that success much quicker. So the last industry leader and entrepreneur that I want to share some quotes from is actually Elon Musk. Elon Musk is one of the most successful people of all time, is one of the wealthiest people in the world. And whether you like Elon Musk or not, despite on what he's been doing in the last year, you have to admit the guy is successful and very ambitious. Known for having created SpaceX and PayPal, Tesla, and now owns Twitter or X or whatever we want to call it. Elon is actually from South Africa and started program development when he was only 12 years old. He's been working all throughout his life, has been continually building upon himself. And I think when he started building rockets, he didn't know anything about rockets and was able to kind of learn along the way and continue to improve himself. And his estimated net worth is about $245 billion. Which is really insane if you try to quantify that amount of money in your head. Here's an interview he did in 2012 where he actually shared this and talking about getting and building into rockets. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. And I think this quote really reflects Musk's determination and belief in pursuing meaningful and impactful endeavors. He really wants to work hard to bring results, to help people, to find new ways. He's been kind of in that SpaceX of trying to find new planets that we can inhabit as people, which is also kind of crazy if you think about it. When you have an idea that's really important, you kind of have to work on it, no matter how difficult or hard it might be. And when it's important enough to you, then you do it regardless of the hurdles or challenges that you may face. And especially with careers and different jobs, it might be difficult or ambitious to set your sights on a specific goal or specific position at a certain business. But as you kind of decide where your goals and your focus should be, you can really start to map out a way of how you can get there. Getting to know the right people, getting to know the right organization, developing those critical skills that are actually going to land you that position in the long run. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you're able to find some motivation or inspiration from these industry leaders. There's a lot of really awesome people out there who give really good advice, who have kind of been down career paths, let you know, which is why I love interviewing people. If you have a favorite inspirational quote or message or anything, make sure to leave it down below. I'd love to get your guys' feedback. And if there's a career that you guys are interested in, let me know down below as well, because I'd love to get someone on the show to actually talk about it, help share their path, hopefully help you guys actually get that career of your own. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. See ya.